So after that big win over Qatar, there were a lot of storylines that came out of that. But of course, Jesse Marsch was one of them. A lot of people talking about him, mostly his celebration post-game. So, has Jesse Marsch become the face of the team?
I mean, I don't think I was the story. I didn't follow a whole lot of it. I think the team was the story, and the team's handling of the Ismail situation. There was the issue with Lopetegui after, but I tried not to. I didn't even talk about it, so I didn't want to make a big deal of that. And then the only thing I tried to do is accentuate after the match the experience in stadium that the fans had, because, again, if people want to say things about what my reactions or actions were, this is still about creating a movement in this country, about this sport, about these players, about this team. This is different than, what people may perceive in Europe or down in the States or Mexico or South America. We're at a different stage of where we are in the sport in this country, and everything that Kevin Blue, Peter Agruso, and I are working toward is building a foundation for the sport for the future. Everything for the youth national teams to residencies, men's and women's team aligned, opportunity for young coaches, young players, young analysts, everything. Like, we want to make this a footballing nation, right? A soccer nation. And so there's so much more to this entire experience than how successful will the first team be, the men's team be, even though I am going to be judged only entirely on that. But I think we, as a nation, as a federation, are focused on growing this sport through these players and through this team so that, we can really inspire the nation.
And I know many of you watching know that we are taking clips from that press conference. Jonathan David did speak during that press conference, because I also think it's a little bit ironic asking Jesse Marsch if he's, become the face of the team and all we're hearing from is Jesse Marsch. But KJ, you're the one who asked him that question. What prompted you to do that?
Well, let's talk about what Jesse Marsch is right about, where that comes from. It is about a movement, and it isn't really about what everybody else thinks around the world, as we've addressed a lot this week. And we and others have addressed this a lot this week. So let's talk about what else I think he's right about. I do believe that it is more than just about this team and this World Cup for building the sport in this country. But with that comes with telling those stories. Nathan Saliba scored a free kick goal in a World Cup and held up his teammate's number, is one of his best friends, after he just cried and saw that World Cup come to an end for Ismail Kone. And we haven't spoken to Nathan Saliba, and no Canadian has heard from Nathan Saliba since that moment in a World Cup. So there's been a lack of stories around the players and a lack of availability. I'm not making that the story. I'm not here to say, woe is us, the media, we're not getting that much time with them. So what my point is that he is inevitably, he being Jesse Marsch, inevitably the face of this team. He talks in press conferences 90% of the time over his player. The press conference lasts about 35 minutes. We get about 3 minutes with 2 players per day at their training. And so it is Jesse Marsch's team. And when I asked him that in March of 2025, whether he would be comfortable being the face, he said, I hope I would not. And until we get that big monumental moment, maybe from a Jonathan David a knockout game, he is, whether he wants to be or not, he is the face of this team. And I understand he's a polarizing figure. But back to what I do believe he's right on, I think ultimately those players care, and they don't mind him being put in front of everybody else, because they just care for him and he cares for them. So it's clear for me that, I don't know what you guys think, but right now he's obviously the face of the team.
I think that's Alphonso Davies. It's very difficult, though, when Davies hasn't played for, 18, 19 months now, KJ. I mean, Marsch knows what he's doing post-match, holding up 6 fingers. Like, it's very Jose Mourinho-esque. Like the 3 fingers up, 3 titles at Chelsea, or to the ear. Like, he knows he's provoking. Like, yeah. This is part of it. I don't know how much it is to take away maybe some of the pressure on his players, because there's a lot of good guys on the team. Yeah. A lot of really nice guys. So he's happy to take that mantle. But Marsch hasn't won anything yet. You become the face of something when you go out and win. His other quotes, and it's not just the 6 fingers, just off the top of my head, he made the comments about the political situation in the U.S. Then he also made the comment at this World Cup about American players not singing the anthem. He accused players that were playing for the Vancouver Whitecaps in Mexico from being potentially poisoned. He got sent off in the Nations League for a nothing burger. He criticized Juventus on the way that they were treating and handling Jonathan David. Like, this is Jesse Marsch. This is the way he is, the good, the bad, and everything in between. Some people will like it, some people won't. I think there's a movement in this country, notwithstanding Jesse Marsch's contributions, because I think the Canadian players are the one that takes it forward. And by winning and going deep in this tournament, that's how the movement catches fire. It's not anything that a head coach says or does.
He's prone to say some things that are controversial. That's like in his character a little bit. I know that he's coming
I
from a
like
good
that about him, honestly.
Sure. And that happens. That's what some of the coaches, best coaches that we love or that have changed this game, step in front of their team and make sure that they're the story. And that whatever they say, good or bad, those are the things that people talk about. I'll say this lastly about the players. I can't think of a single player on this team that's brash, that beats their chest. They're all Canadian. Work hard, grind, want to put out a good performance, and then celebrate and get on to the next thing. So when you have someone like Jesse Marsch, who is a bit controversial, who does the 6 fingers, who beats his chest, who says and has an opinion on everything, he will be the mainstay. And I think over time we might get some brash players, but right now we don't have any of those.